What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, and we have got Bobby Stewart, the Tottenham drummer, back on the show after Sunday. You know, a lot has been said about Sunday on the pitch, off the pitch. Bobby, first and foremost, how are you going into
I'm all
international
right,
break?
It's I think I need a bit of a break for Spurs.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah. No, it's weird, isn't it? Because I've had some Wednesday night and Sunday before the game, and even during the game, from an atmosphere point of view, I've had two of the best atmospheres that we've had, and it's been really enjoyable from my point of view as a drummer. But then, as the adrenaline from that goes, you sink into the reality of where we are, and it's like the longer I come away from Sunday, the more that I'm actually saying things and looking at facts and things to try and make the hit of potentially us getting relegated not be a big blow and be prepared for it, because it's just depressing.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Sunday obviously was quite, significant when it comes to before the game. We had the massive mobilisation of fans before the game to cheer in the team bus. Is estimated 10 to 15,000, they say, Tottenham fans on the street, and the pictures, the images were fantastic. Obviously, me and Ben, and we saw you there as well. In terms of the amount of people that turned up, like was that kind of what you expected, better than you expected, going ahead of Sunday?
I think as it evolved, the reality hit that, wow, this could be quite big. So when I came into the process about a week into it, and some people had already done a lot of the work, and they had spoken with the club, and it I think the idea was originally that not to involve the club, and that maybe 500 fans through promoting it might turn up on the high road, maybe 1,000, 2,000 tops, to greet the players as they're coming in their cars. That was the original plan. As I came involved, it was as the conversations with the club about there potentially being a bus involved. As it then materialised the middle of last week that they were going to put on the bus, there was a thought of, right, okay, this could be decent, and you start to think of the Everton scenes when the helicopter was going over and you could see all the flares and stuff. And then Michael Bridge did a Sky Sports report on Friday and said expected 25,000 Spurs fans. Now, I don't know where he plucked that number from, but that in our group chat we were like, whoa, this is insane. Like, and it's amazing looking at the scenes from Sunday, like looking at the videos and stuff, like to think that that many people turned up, and that we all came together as a fan base. We put aside our differences. Some people don't have too many issues with the club. I think that number's getting less and less with those people, but a lot of people have different varying opinions, whether it's picking the team, whether it's the ownership, or whatever it is. People have differences, but on Sunday, until really from a point of view of supporting this club, it was probably the most together the club's been, maybe even more so than Bilbao. It was incredible.
Yeah, no, it really was. And obviously, like Tim mentioned, we were there, and I think just as we hit the high road, it was just mad to see the flares, the people, the songs, everyone together. The sun was shining. It all felt like the start of just an amazing day. And obviously, it was an amazing day ruined by 90 minutes of football, as it usually is. But
by Tottenham.
Yeah, by Tottenham. But what are the plans, before we go on to the day, are the plans moving forward to carry on doing this at home games?
Yeah. So it's been, I think a few polls have gone out. Stu, who's on TikTok, Twitter, Insta, I think Stuart Malseed, he has done a poll, and the idea is, I mean, I'm sure we'll talk about it, but there has been some negative reaction, but overall it's been positive. And the idea is, whether the club are involved or not, whether it is just meet on the high road and get together and show our support, whether the players see it or not, I think the idea is to go again and go again and go again. And look, at the end of the day, I'm going to be devil's advocate here. If we get relegated, do we want to get relegated and be all over the place, be toxic, be not enjoy it? Why do we watch football? Why do we pay all the money we do to watch football? We watch it to have a good time and enjoy it, right? So my point of view is, I've been there. I've been a massive football fan my whole life. I've been that fan that gets angry. I've been that fan that gets sad. And don't get me wrong, I'm furious about where we are. But you go to the game and you've got to just try and get some enjoyment out of it. And even if that enjoyment ends as the ball gets kicked from the start of the game, like I think if people can try and have a bit of enjoyment if they can, but the main thing from that is just show your support, because forget about the owners, forget about whether you are happy with the manager, even the players. There's two things which I put on a tweet that I put out last week. There's two things that are there's three things that are constant with following a football team. It's the name, Tottenham Hotspur. It's the badge. It's the cockerel on our chest, and it's the fans. Everything else comes and goes. Everyone else are just custodians of the club. We are the constants, and it's tough now. But whether we like it or not, we can't choose to not support Tottenham. So let's just do our best. And if we get relegated, we can walk away with our heads held high and go, do you know what? We did what we could, and it's everyone else that let us down.
Absolutely. And it's just like you said, like when it's all said and done, us as fans, we don't want to be looking back at it saying, oh, we could have done more here, we could have done more there. And I think as Sunday goes, we did as much as we could as a fan base to really propel the team into getting a good result. Obviously, that didn't happen. And, that was to the players and to the manager and to whatever, all the other scenarios going into it. And I look back at the Everton situation when they were, they looked like a lost cause at one point in that relegation battle, and they took the decision to line the streets. And in that first game, when they lined the streets, they lost 4-1 to Newcastle that day. And they didn't say, oh, well, it didn't work, we're going to stop here. They kept going, kept going, and they ended up staying up. So I think it's the complete right decision just to keep going, keep supporting the team, and to see what can come out. And if nothing comes out of it, we haven't lost anything. We've had a good time on the streets supporting our football club. If something could come out of it, we say we've done our part.
Yeah, and when you say about Everton there, right? So this whole idea that Stu came up with the idea, and he basically says, he said this on a few podcasts, but he basically woke up one morning and thought, we got to do something. We got to do something. And I don't know if it was an interview or whether he spoke, but Andros Townsend said that when he was at Everton, he said we were awful, we were shocking, we were going down, and said seeing those scenes, like, it just brought some togetherness. It brought us all together. And he said, and we then played the rest of the season as a team. And he said we deserved as individuals and as the group probably to go down, but that brought us to a level of, right, we've got to do all we can. So maybe those players that have given up suddenly realise they've got something, because we're all humans and we've all got a heart, right? And I think exactly what you said there. One thing that really took me aback, being a tiny part of the organisation, in the sense of, like, I was just listening and giving my view occasionally, but like all the other boys in this, but there's 10 of us all together, plus Spurs song sheet that sort of helped organise this, and Tottenham flags as well, and they've all done all the work. I've done like 0.5% and turned up on the day and bashed a drum. But one thing that really sort of shook me and took me back a bit was that when the club decided to so we had to they made the club aware, because the idea was it be purely fan based, right? And then there was an idea of, we'll speak to the club in case it does get big, and then the club basically said, we don't want nothing to do with it, in the sense that we don't want this to be from the club, we want this to be you fans that come up with this, we can help, but we don't want to, and we love it and it's great, but we don't want to do anything from promotion or anything like that, because it's not a fan parade, it's not a parade or anything like that. This is what you want to do, which is great of them, right? So the club gets a lot of negativity, but of course they're going to want this, because it'll lose them millions and billions of pounds if we go down, right? So then when it was getting bigger, like, sort of they had to have conversations with police, even MOD, things like that, and then when they agreed, the club said that they would speak to the players and speak to Tudor about a coach, and apparently, from what I hear, that when the players got told of there being a coach and got told of the idea, there was a buzz, and this was on Tuesday, and there was a buzz around the players, and there was a buzz of togetherness. And what made me feel amazing was Wednesday night against Atletico. The players came out and they came and cheered the fans. They had a huddle on the pitch, and they played with togetherness on Wednesday, and everyone stayed to the end. And I genuinely was like, oh my God, like this, I know this sounds like a little bit big-headed here, but bear in mind, this isn't me, it's the other 9 boys in the studio that come up with it. I genuinely believe that stems from them being told about that on the coach and this idea. And I think I'm sort of always proud to be a tiny part of that. And but when I say tiny part, it's not just those boys; it's the whole fan base. And I think we as a fan base brought that. Um, and it's just such a shame because I actually don't think the players lost that on Sunday, believe it or not. Controversial opinion, and I know he's going through tough circumstances, and we've got to put personal things aside. I think from a footballing point of view, I do put the blame quite a lot of Tudor because I think the players were up for it. The formation was horrible, the tactics were horrible, and he could have just continued on from where he left off on Wednesday, and he didn't. And I think that's what ruined it. It was, I think, had he kept the same team and formation and just kept it back to basics, I do think we'd have won on Sunday because the players were up for it. So to go back to what we were saying a minute ago, that's why we've got to keep going. We've got to keep going because it worked with Everton. So we just got to keep trying.
Do you anticipate going forward there'll be continued club involvement if there is a continuation at home games?
I don't know. I think the decisions this week have been, do we go? Because also, like, these boys are putting so much effort, right? They put in so much time. They're exhausted. I know Songsheet's exhausted. And there's ideas of what we want it to be. Some people wanted it to be purely fan led and not have, because the club had people there. They had people just filming. Whereas some certain fan groups do want it to be purely pure and organic, and others want more promotion and that. And I get all points of view. I'm just there in the middle bashing a drum. So, but. I think there's been a bit of disheartenedness of obviously immediately it felt like it didn't work, and now the reality is that okay, it might work, and it at least we had fun doing it. And so now I think up until about today the chat's been around, are we going to do it again today and yesterday? Yes, we are going to do it again. So I think now the conversations will be what form do we do it again? It probably won't be as big against Brighton, but it's a 5:30 kickoff. So yeah, those discussions will be going on, and obviously all the fan groups will collectively update fans and the social media accounts as and when we get.
What did you feel like before the game in terms of the club's involvement? The fact that they were like pumping out Romero motivational speeches, they were pumping out content on their kind of Twitter, best fans in the world, all this kind of stuff, but like kind of make it their thing in a way. Like I don't know. I'm not trying to criticize them. I'm just saying, what was like your feeling on how the club were kind of amping this up as like an occasion on top of obviously what the fans were trying to do on their part?
Do you know what? I come from a weird position here because if I wasn't the drummer for Spurs, I think I would voice potentially my opinions a little bit more, and I don't mean that in a trying to be a yes man or a middleman. I'm not, but I've got to accept the fact that I've been put in by Songsheet and Rots but also I liaise with the club, and the club have, even with me as a drummer, they have ideas of how they want to improve the fan atmosphere, which I won't talk about because I disagree with them, and there's the ways that myself, Return of the Shelf, and Songsheet want us to improve fan atmosphere, and I've become to a point where the club trusts me and they trust me to do certain things that I've got that good relationship and I can push back on things. And so I actually think almost from being someone in that position, that I can see the positives. I can see why. I'm not just saying this because I'm in that position. I genuinely believe that. I can see why the club got on it and wanted to promote it a bit. I can see why it's cheesy. I can see why it's not the classic football. I can see our point of view. Do you know what I mean? It's a tricky one to answer because there's pros and cons to both. I wasn't too. I'm not. Unless a cop out, I weren't too bothered either way from my point of view because I was just looking forward to doing it and seeing how it transpired. And I don't think it would have made a difference, the video or not. I genuinely think that the amount of people turned up would have turned up whether the club promoted it or not. And so maybe they didn't have to do that. I don't know. I mean, what the reality is, right? I don't mean it's a horrible way. What did that Romero video really do? I heard about it was coming. It didn't really do nothing for me because it was just a bit taffy.
In my humble opinion, I feel like it wasn't needed. All the stuff that the club did before the game, I think it just probably added a bit too much pressure maybe to the players. And, I go back to the Everton thing. They said absolutely nothing when the
Yeah.
fans were lining the streets. They let it all be 100% fan led, and I think that's the way it should be. I think that the club just spoke about it too much on social media, and they should basically shut up until they win a game. Essentially, that's how I feel.
No, that's spot on. That is spot on. It does make my answer now sound a little bit middleman, because thinking about that logically, I fully agree with you. I'm not just saying that now. Like, I do. Yeah. Thinking of very Everton didn't actually promote it, did they? So no, that is right. Yeah. It's fair.
There has been criticism and pushback by some Spurs fans on the line in the streets and everything like that. What's your opinion on any of the pushback?
I think some of the comments have been a little bit nasty, because I think what people have got to remember is that 10 fans, 11, 12 fans, maybe tops, some with a lot more involvement than others. I just turned up, as I keep saying. I feel bad I don't involve myself in any of the organisation, but there's a lot of love, there's a lot of passion, there's a lot of hard work gone into this. And the cause is, for one thing, right, it's for Tottenham. So the main hate towards it, hate's the wrong word, but the main negativity towards it has been because there was a plan change for Tottenham protest on the day, and the people that have got the negative views are like, we shouldn't be supporting ENIC, we shouldn't be supporting this. And as I say to people, as I said earlier, whether I agree or not with those views, and whether you agree or not with those views, it's Tottenham Hotspur and it's this football club, and the best interest of this football club is to stay in the Premier League. And so put those views aside. You're not if you're attending that parade, how anyone can see that they're attending that parade to support ENIC, I do not understand that viewpoint. You are not there to support ENIC. You were there to support Tottenham Hotspur and to keep this club in the Premier League. And so, I just think people have just got to put their views aside, and we've got to come together. Because I tell you one thing, regardless of whether we stay up or whether we go down, I can guarantee you that those protests in the future will double, triple, quadruple, regardless of what happens, because a lot of people and the club have got to be aware of that, because they have made some decisions this year that will have consequences with the fan base. And I can see that's going to happen. And so that's coming, right? That will come. But until that comes, we've got to do all we can to keep our club that we love and that cockerel on our chest in the Premier League.
Yeah, I don't get that sentiment saying if you turned up to that, you're supporting ENIC. Like, the same people say support the team and not the regime, and I think that's exactly what we were doing on Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, I agree fully. And do you know what? It's so easy as well with social media and that. Like, I now just literally just look at the positive things, because I know criticism in life, that where I want to hear it from and where it's worth coming from. And social media is not one of them, especially Arsenal fans. And so I think some of the messages on there I started to look at for the first time in a while. Some of the replies to certain, and I just thought, I'm not doing this. It's not worth it. Because some of the sort of genuine Tottenham fans, just sort of being a bit negative towards it, and I'm just like, do you know what? That's your opinion, that's fine, but the majority of us don't agree with that. And so, come on, we support Tottenham. We're all in it together.
Any good? Is there going to be any changes to the next couple or the next one at Brighton to what you did?
Changes in the sense that actually I'm away for the Brighton game. So I
who's going to be drumming?
Well, I've got a backup called Bobby. And you won't believe this, right? So just a little bit on me. I went to Shoeburyness High School in Southend. I play the saxophone, and my name's Bobby, and I support Spurs. The backup drummer is 5 years younger than me. He looks like me. He went to Shoeburyness High School. He plays the saxophone. He supports Spurs, and his name's Bobby. You cannot write it. He's a lovely guy. I've known him years. I helped him when he was about 5 years younger than me when I was at school, and I just had this. I had this epiphany. I thought, I wonder. I knew he used to be in a marching band, and I had a chat with him, and I can't remember what game it was, but about 2 months ago he covered for a game for me, and he loved it. Of course he did. So yeah, I've messaged him to see if he can do the Brighton game. But on that, linked to that, from my point of view, boys, I have to say, if we put aside the football thing, Sunday was amazing to be part of, right? Because the police were basically hardly got involved, and they were just like, it's going to be better if you boys who've organised this try and get the fans. They needed the fans to stay off the path, off on the paths, and they kept threatening, saying that if they come too close, the coach won't come down. And the police were like, yeah, they let the 9 or 10 boys in the group get in the middle and sort of almost like lead it from the middle. And some people don't like that, some people do. But then when they were like that corner's getting too busy, they gave us the chance first to speak to the fans and be like, look, we've done all this hard work. Please, everyone, listen and get back. And so I actually think the police were brilliant. And then they didn't want me going in the middle because they were like, well, if the drummer goes in the middle, people will follow him. I'm like, no one's following me, mate. Like, it'd be fine. And then when they realised I was part of it, they let me in the middle, and it was amazing. Like, because I was in the middle of the high road, and everyone's singing either side, and I was like sort of going back and forth. The rabbi come and took me drumsticks and was drumming with me. Yeah, and then Billy T accidentally nicked his walking stick for a while, which was funny. You know, it was amazing. And then as the coach went past, and I was sort of doing drumming, and as I was outside the stadium, I was drumming to the Y word, which was because I've got a good beat for the Y word song, so I was loving doing that. And yeah, it was amazing to be part of. So I think there's probably some criticisms that we can work on and live and learn from, but I think as a whole, I wouldn't want much to change other than the self promotion from the club, really, because it's not needed, because it's embarrassing if we lose, which it was.
Any messages to the fan base to the next one?
Come along, honestly, like, please, like, let's do it again. Whether they put a coach in, whether they don't, let's all stick together. Look, we might be going to Stockport County next year. Like Stockport County, when we were in the Champions League, we're in the National League North, right?
Yeah.
We might be doing Stockport County away next year. It's a reality that we could be if they get promoted from League One. So, like, let's just do our all. Let's do everything we can. Let's enjoy those atmospheres, because we still singing the songs, we're still here together. And then if that transcends onto the pitch, then do you know what? As I say, if we go down, we hold our heads high that we've tried our best, and we'll deal with all the hurt and all that comes. If we stay up, then I don't think we'd have stayed up without it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So be part of it.
I completely agree. You want to be in that number, people. You want to
be in that
number.
I love that. Yeah.
But Bobby, I want to thank you so much for all the work that you've done, particularly over the course of this season, because it's been very hard. It's been very hard to try and keep the faith throughout this whole season. I'll tell you that.
Oh, honestly, it has at times. It has. It's been, yeah. And do you know what? And they keep getting rid of people that we've got good songs, like Postacoglu, Johnson. Like, I'm running out of songs to jump to. So, but yeah. So no, it's and
no one wants to make songs for the new players.
No, I know. Even that one they came up with Xavi Simmons, they can't sing because it was it says Thomas Frank called him, didn't they? So,
God. Oh, God.
Although I did have a good song for Marinakis on Sunday, but unfortunately we never got to sing it, so never mind.
That's a shame. That's a shame.
Right.
But yeah, no, thank you boys as well. Honestly, it's a pleasure getting to know you boys and seeing you each game, and either smiling with delight, which I don't think we've done really yet this year, over a Tottenham result. It hasn't happened at home, but
no, I mean we were together for the second leg against Atletico. We were both smiling that day, but shame we weren't on Sunday.
You know what?
But...
On that, some of the best atmospheres have been the Champions League games when the top tier has been a bit empty, because I've had the sounds travelled. We've played some nice football. And like the Atletico game, I was one of my favourite games of this season, right? Like, just because of the togetherness, and the Dortmund game as well. So it's a tough old season, innit? So we're Tottenham Hotspur, haven't we? We've come to live with it. We've had our eye last year. let's just hope we get some more in the future. Come on.
Yeah, we just need a couple more wins. Let's just get over that line, people. Let's just get over that line, and then we can kick on again next season.
Can I ask you, boys, before we finish? Can I ask you? Let's say it's not us. Who do you think goes down?
I think it could be Leeds.
I think it could be Leeds as well. Yeah, I do. I agree.
Yeah.
I'm refusing to believe that Spurs are going down. I'm just pure delusion. Like, I just can't do it. I just can't.
Do you know what, though? I'll say this really quickly. You know when we played Ajax, do you remember Vertonghen missed that header and it went over the bar?
Mm-hmm. Right? In the end, yeah.
And then, at the end. And I was so... I don't know if anyone else did this, right? With 2 minutes to go, 3 minutes to go, I was looking at the floor thinking, right, okay, hang on a minute. We ain't played that well second half season. We're probably going to get Champions League top 4. We got to the semi-final, so close to the final of the Champions League. My other team, Tunbridge Angels, were in the playoff final. Like it's going to be it's going to hurt when that final whistle goes, but I've got to accept it's going to happen. And I really told myself that right, this is done, and tried to be prepared for the final whistle. So it was even extra more special when Mora did what he did. And I feel like I'm doing that now. Like I don't want us to, obviously. Think. I still don't think we'll get relegated, but I'm starting to prepare myself, putting facts about things on Twitter, like just to try and sort of get the doom, like be prepared, because then hopefully the hurt won't hurt us, but it will hurt. But it just sort of. But then if we stay up, it will. But we shouldn't go celebrating. Like we shouldn't go. No, we can't do a pitch invasion if we stay up. But we can be happy that we did our bit, and then face the whatever we need to do to make sure this never happens again, whether it's the fans, the club, the players, the manager, the owners.
We can't do a pitch invasion, but can we do a safety parade?
yeah. I don't think so. Somehow, I think we just have to walk away and go, "Yep, cool."
That's done. Yeah, move on.
And also, I tell you what, the other thing as well. The only positive about all of this, and it's not a positive. When we go down, it's not a positive. I ain't half forgotten about Arsenal the last few weeks. I ain't been bothered about them at the moment. So
Me as well.
Yeah, that'll come at some point if the worst happens. But yeah.
I'll tell you what, after Sunday,
positive.
I didn't even care about the Carabao Cup final. Like Arsenal lost. I didn't even know for 2 or 3 hours after the final whistle.
Yeah. But if if we were mid-table and we were just there, we would. So there's a positive. I'm not being serious. Tottenham.
Take any win that you can, but let's hope we get a couple of wins from now to the end of the season, and keep up the good fight. We'll be there along your side, by your side, and have a good few weeks break because God, you probably need it.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I will. And as I say, unless I can get out of what I'm doing in the Brighton game, I'll be there. But if not, be back up, then I'll be there every step of the way to the end. And and also thank you to everyone as well, because since you last had me on, like people have said hi, and I get a few comments and stuff, and it's really nice, and it's nice to and I'm there. I do this not to promote me. I do it to promote the drumming and what we're doing in the calls, and it's just nice. It's just nice having that sort of love. So yeah, thank you, boys. You're two top guys. Cheers.
Our pleasure.
Thank you very much, Bobby. We'll see you along the journey at some point. But thank you very much for coming on, and we'll speak to you soon, Bobby. Everyone, show some love to Bobby Stewart, the Tottenham drummer.
Cheers, boys. Take care. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.